Hey guys, welcome in. It's Brad with College SportsCast. We are presented by the Fanboys, Let's Talk Sports, featured on and Sideline Sports. All right, guys, I think I'm back. Can you hear me, Jason?
Man, yeah, you certainly back.
All right, man. All right, so we're College SportsCast. I'm Brad. I have Jason Harrison on with me. How's it going, Jason?
Man, it's going great, man. How about you?
Doing pretty good. How's the week been? Busy as always?
Man, it feels like a Thursday, and I just realized today was Tuesday.
Yep. Today
Yeah,
is
yeah.
Tuesday. Yeah,
Today
yeah.
is
You're right
Tuesday.
on that now. Yeah.
Today is Tuesday, man. Trying to catch up on some baseball and whatever else going on in the world.
Right, right. I hear
Yeah.
you. Well, welcome to College Sportscast. I am at Bluegrass Brad's. I am actually Bluegrass Brad, and we are sponsoring ourselves, College Sportscast, the Fanboys, and Greenville Sports Media. So, welcome in to our show. We cover college sports, all college sports, it seems like. I think this is our 122nd College Sportscast show, I think,
Wow.
Jason.
Wow. A lot of shows.
It is. So we are coming to a close to our season one. When college baseball here is over, we're going to close season one, do a summer series, and then have an kickoff show August 27th with the Fanboys. But before that, we're also each Tuesday in August, we're going to do a preview of the Power Five conferences in college football. And we will start August 1st with the Pac 12. And each Tuesday, we will come along and do our preview show, talk about each team. We're going to talk about the schedule for each team and what the regular season outcome will be. We will try to predict what the regular season outcome will be on those shows. So, give you guys something to look forward to, but we are going to take a couple of short breaks. Our summer series is going to be SEC Media Days, and that's going to be our shows are going to be July 16th through the 20th. And then we will be off again for a couple of weeks till August 1st. So, to kind of give you guys a heads up on what's going on with College Sportscast. So, if you haven't been paying attention, you are missing out because the College World Series in Omaha has been sensational so far. I mean, it really has been. So before today's games, there had been 8 games so far in the College World Series. It started on Friday. There's been 2 games a day. 2 Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday is 8 games. Out of those 8 games, 6 of those games have been decided by 1 run. And most of those 6 have been late 8th inning, 7th, 8th, 9th inning decisions, basically, runs to decide the game. Jason, have you been keeping up with anything on the College World Series?
I have. I think yesterday I got a chance to actually sit down in front of a television.
Yeah.
And actually, I said, you know what? I'm gonna sit down and watch something on TV, and it was the LSU Wake Forest game. And that game was pretty intense. It was a game that I would have loved to been at because it seemed like it was just a battle of wits and determination and sheer hard heart. Both teams, and I'm talking about the LSU, like the LSU and Wake Forest game. Like they say, both of them.
It was a sensational game. I mean, it really was.
Mhm.
It come out to be 3-2. Wake Forest come out on top, but it was a late. The eighth inning was explosive. I will get into it a little bit more as we go along.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, it was a sensational game. It's actually, I believe, at least 2 of 3 of the best teams in the country, Wake Forest and LSU.
I would agree. I would agree.
They are great teams, and it was a great game. I watched almost all of the game yesterday. I was off and on for the first few innings, but after that, it got intense. About it was slow going until LSU scored in an error and stuff, and then the 6th inning on was pretty intense. So, yeah.
And all it takes is one error, one mistake, one walk,
Yeah.
one bad pitch, one bad throw. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
And the game
This
could
is
be
true.
nip and tuck for so long.
Yeah,
All
this
it
is
takes
true.
One. Yeah.
So the College World Series started this past Friday. Friday's bracket started with Oral Roberts versus TCU and Virginia versus Florida. Both of these games were exciting games down to the wire. Oral Roberts and Florida scored in the 8th and 9th innings to win, and both of these games on this day were 6-5 games, won in the 8th and the 9th innings. Oral Roberts advanced over TCU on Friday, and Florida, who was behind in the bottom of the 9th, come back and win 6-5, and advance to the next round, putting TCU and Virginia in the losers bracket. So that's how the College World Series started. Like I said, Oral Roberts, before this game on Friday, they had won 31 of 33 games. And Jason, I think you and I had talked about Oral Roberts and has talked about, they could be a dark horse and stuff. So they come out and come from behind in the 8th inning and beat TCU to start the College World Series, first game of the College World Series last Friday. So they made a little noise.
They made a lot of noise, and unfortunately, like you just said, man, they just end up losing again and got eliminated. But they stranded over 25 base runners. Man,
Yeah.
so like I said,
Yeah, today's game was not exactly how they would want the game to go.
Bases loaded in the
Yeah.
ninth. They just couldn't get over the hump.
Yeah,
man.
today's game was definitely that. So, but they did make a little noise in the College World Series. They knocked off TCU to start with, moved on in the winners bracket on Friday to start with, and so did Florida. So then we moved on to Saturday, and Saturday's bracket looked like this. So we had Stanford versus Wake Forest and Tennessee versus LSU. And that was the order of the games. And Stanford was actually leading 2-1 in the bottom of the 8th. And Wake Forest had some heroics in the bottom of the 8th, scores 2 runs, holds on to win 3-2 against Stanford. That's how that game went out. Now, I want to say this. Wake Forest has got some pitchers, man. I mean, holy cow. Like, They know they can pitch, and they've got some hitters too. They got a guy that's got 31 home runs, like 87 RBI. That's a lot for 60 some games in college baseball.
They did. I thought that was a typo when I saw it on the screen.
That's a lot for 60 some games in college baseball.
Man, he know how to keep the ball in play.
Yeah.
He also know how to drive and run.
Yeah. And then we had Tennessee and LSU. Now this game was, out of all these first 8 games, was the only game that there was a little bit of breathing room. LSU actually jumped out in this game 6-0. Paul Skeens was lights out. LSU brought in a relief pitcher in the 8th inning, and they kind of lit him up, and they scored 3 runs in the 8th inning, and cut it to 6-3. And then LSU closed it out in the 9th inning and won 6-3. But this game, out of these first 8, was the only game that there was a little bit of breathing room in. LSU versus Tennessee, and it was because it was 6-0 pretty early on. By the 4th or 5th inning, it was 6-0 in this game, and Paul Skeens was just lights out. And they couldn't hardly get nothing off of Skeens, and of course, then they got 3 runs in the 8th, and made a game out of it. They had an outside shot, and cut it and made it 6-3. Tennessee did in this game. But that's how those 2 games went on Saturday. And I don't know if you paid attention to those games on Saturday, but the Wake Forest-Stanford game was an excellent game. It really was. Wake Forest, again, I'm going to repeat this, they scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th and won 3-2. Okay? So you're gonna hear a similar story here in just a few minutes. That's the reason why. That's the reason why I'm repeating it. All right. Then on Sunday, so TCU and Virginia plays a game on Sunday, and Florida plays Oral Roberts. So TCU and Virginia was a very tight game. It's like 1-0, then 2-1, then 3-2, and the whole game they both scored a run late, like in the 8th or 9th inning, and TCU comes out on top 4-3, knocking Virginia out in 2 late game 1-run games. They lost 2 of them that way. To Florida 6-5 and to TCU 4-3. They definitely showed good and deserved to be there. Virginia had a great team and was right there in both games. And like I said, they lost both games by 1 run. And then in the late game, Florida actually jumped out on Oral Roberts and was ahead 5-1 after about 4 innings. And then Oral Roberts kind of chipped away. In the 9th inning, they had runners in scoring position. They did score 1 run and cut it to 5-4. It was a 1-run game. They couldn't come out over, and get the hit to come out on top, and they were beat by Florida 5-4, I believe. Let's see if I can get the right score to come up. Yeah, 5-4. And then Monday's games yesterday, we'll start out with the Tennessee-Stanford game. The Tennessee-Stanford game was tied 4-4 in the seventh inning. Tennessee put together a 2-run inning and went up 6-4 and closed it out at 6-4. But it was a great game as well yesterday. And then, Jason, we're going to get to LSU and Wake Forest yesterday. So Floyd was pitching for LSU. He struck out 10, was absolutely rolling along. The game was, he was keeping them at zeros, was rolling along. And then all of a sudden, the sixth inning comes around, and there was some questionable ball strikes. LSU fans was throwing a fit. But he simply couldn't throw a strike, and he walked 3 straight batters to open the inning. Wake Forest had a base hit up the middle to score a run. They also drove in a second run and went ahead 2-0. They tied the game 2-2. I'm sorry, and that was in the sixth. And how LSU got 2 was a line drive in the sun, and the guy couldn't see it. He lost it in the sun, and the left fielder lost it in the sun, and there was an error. It went over his head. Yeah, and that's how LSU got 2 runs earlier in the game. So it was 2-2 in the sixth. And then comes the eighth inning. The eighth inning was pretty fun to watch. What's up, Bo? Appreciate you being on with us, man. Football Talk with Bo is with us, so I just want to say what's up, man. I appreciate you being on.
Bo Diddley, Bo.
Bo knows.
Bo knows.
I tell him that all the time. I do. All right. So in the eighth inning, LSU tries to squeeze a run at the plate on a little base hit down third base, or trying to get a base hit down third base line, and the guy double clutches and still throws to home plate. And it was reviewed and everything. In one of the closest plays that you will find, he was thrown out.
Got him on the inside of that thigh.
And it was reviewed and everything. And it was very, very close. I mean, very close. But the guy, the third baseman, I mean, he double clutched and everything. And still, I mean, just by the hair of his chin, did he throw them out? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So, and then in the bottom of the eighth, they score a run and win and beat LSU 3-2 yesterday. So Wake Forest advances to the semifinal rounds with Florida. So right now, Florida and Wake Forest before today, when today started, was in the winner's bracket, awaiting in the semifinals. And that's where we were when we entered today.
Yeah, he would have beat. Oh.
I think Jason's watching the Tennessee LSU game.
Yeah, hey, I am. I thought I was about to have breaking news.
Yeah.
And it was bases loaded. It was an error on the shortstop. I was like, when I said but they get out the inning. It's top of the eighth.
Yeah.
Ooh, he hit a nut. Listen, I'm sorry, Brad. That's
all right. So, of course, you can see that one of these games is going on right now. Okay, and that's LSU versus Tennessee. They're going on right now. earlier today, TCU played Oral Roberts. Jason said he watched a whole lot of that game. I watched a little bit. Jason said Oral Roberts stranded like 25 runners. Is that right?
I'm saying throughout. That's
Yeah.
throughout. Not today, but
Oh,
throughout.
throughout the College World
Yeah,
Series.
throughout the College World Series. The bottom of the ninth, they had the bases loaded.
Today?
Today. They had the bases loaded.
So TCU jumped out on them 6-0.
Mm-hmm.
They did score one run late in the game, made it 6-1. And then what Jason's talking about is they had a chance in the ninth inning, bases loaded, to drive in some runs and maybe get a rally going and possibly win the game. And it kind of fell through on them. They didn't get it done. And Oral Roberts was eliminated today by TCU 6-1. What that means is that TCU is advancing to the semifinals in the losers bracket.
Yeah. And that is single elimination, right?
No. So the semifinals finishes the double elimination. So now we got Florida versus TCU. Florida comes out of the winners bracket. TCU comes out of the losers bracket. Because TCU has already lost a game, they're going to have to beat Florida twice.
Oh, since TCU lost, well, what I was thinking was, so if TCU loses, they're out, correct?
They do. If TCU loses tomorrow, Florida advances to the College World Series final.
Gotcha.
Because Florida hasn't lost, but TCU has. Oral Roberts beat them the first game in the College World Series. So they're coming out of the losers bracket. And TCU, if they knock off Florida tomorrow, then they play on Thursday, and the winner of that game will advance. But TCU has to win 2, Florida has to win 1 because they have not lost.
Gotcha. Makes sense. Hey, watch this. I'm listening on a little secret. I never knew that. I just always used to just watch.
Yeah.
Watch. Didn't understand the thing until last year I watched, obviously, reasons, because Ole Miss ended up winning.
Right.
And I was at the bar watching. But now that I'm watching, I'm like, well, it's single elimination and you just asked my question. Yes, correct.
Yeah. So
those who've already lost. Yeah.
So that's tomorrow's games will be single elimination if TCU or Tennessee LSU loses.
Mm-hmm.
They have to win twice to advance to the College World Series finals, because Florida and Wake Forest are the winner in the winners bracket, and they have not lost yet.
So technically they won't play each other until, if they both win their games.
Then they play each other. They play each other in the finals. The finals is a best 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
The finals is.
Yep. Best 2 out of 3. Yeah.
Yeah. So now,
what had me
LSU and Tennessee play. Huh?
That what had me. That's what had me antsy. In the top of the 8th.
Yeah.
After they got out, after Tennessee, couldn't do nothing with their bases loaded deal. Tennessee pitcher hit back-to-back hitters. One of them I thought he hit in the face, and so I jumped. But he hit him in the shoulder because he turned. I'm like,
yeah.
So yeah. Sorry guys. Sorry. Hey, give me your live coverage. Obviously, like you said, one person is trying to give you an update, and I'm over here. I'm giving you theatrics.
Yeah. This is true. So Tennessee and LSU is playing. And by the way, today's games were both rematches. Oral Roberts beat TCU on Friday in the opening game. And then today, TCU got a little revenge and knocked Oral Roberts out 6-1. And Tennessee is trying to do the same thing to LSU right now. It is 2-0. I think it's bottom of the eighth, top of the eighth, bottom of the eighth,
Top of the eighth.
top of the eighth.
LSU was up, 2-0 with one out, two people on base.
And and LSU beat them 6-3 on Saturday. So Tennessee's trying to get a little revenge and knock out LSU since LSU lost to Wake Forest yesterday. So this is an elimination game. The loser goes home, and the winner goes to the semifinals in the losers bracket versus Wake Forest again. So LSU is trying to get that revenge rematch tomorrow versus Wake Forest.
Well, one thing we will say, the semifinals will be SEC. We will have half the teams.
Yep.
In the semifinals, something that we talked about anyway.
Yep. Right now there's 5 teams left in college baseball. That's LSU, Tennessee, Florida, TCU, and Wake Forest. There's 5 teams left. 3 of them are SEC. Now, 2 of them are playing each other, so they're going to one of them's going to be knocked out, and one of them's going on. So there's going to be 4 teams left, and 2 of them will be SEC. Now, we got Florida that has not lost, and we have Wake Forest that has not lost. So, they have a little bit of an advantage right now to get to the finals. Those 2 teams do. So LSU's got to finish off Tennessee if they want revenge, and then they got to turn around and beat Wake Forest twice, not once, but twice, to advance to the finals. So they got to win 3 straight days. Tennessee and 2 days against Wake Forest. That's a tall task even for LSU, and LSU has a spectacular team, guys. Honestly, I think that if Wake Forest and LSU has probably got the 2 best teams. Florida is just right below them. Like, they're right there with them. I would say that those 3 teams are probably the best teams. Tennessee was probably the best team last year heading in to everything, and then they kind of fell apart, got beat out, and they didn't have a season like they did this year, like they did last year, but have made a great run here in the tournament, in the NCAA tournament, and made it to the College World Series. Like I said, they beat Stanford the other day to get to this point, to avoid elimination game. They've already had one elimination game and won it. So you got to give the Vols a little credit on that. And so now they're battling LSU and trying to, like I said, get a little revenge on the Tigers.
It's crucial. Hey, it got me looking up at that, man. It's some coaching going on, bro. That's what I'm gonna say. It's some coaching going on. Some coaching going on out here. I've never seen a guy have a 1-2 count and get pulled.
The batter?
The pitcher get pulled.
The pitcher got pulled. Pitcher got pulled?
Has a 1-2
1-2?
1-2 count.
That's
has a
crazy.
1-2 count. Runners at first and second, even though it's one out, he just got one out. Now the guy almost ripped a crushing, I'm gonna say a double down the left going towards the outfield over the third base, but it went foul.
Yeah.
So he almost drove those 2 in. And so I guess he's like, hey, I've seen enough. And hey, I don't blame him. I love it. I'm not gonna second guess myself. If I'm gonna go down, I'm gonna go down coaching. I can understand that, especially like we just said earlier with these 1-run ball games. one runs,
We have.
2-run games.
Yep.
It's just that, yeah,
Before today,
I guess he's
every
trying to get
game was 3 runs or less. 6 of 8 were 1-run games. Now, today, this game going on today is a 2-run game. It's 2-0. It's been tight the whole game, of course. So I've got the game on now, by the way.
Listen,
I couldn't help
listen. I'm trying to tell you. Like this is that.
All right, so I'm going to move on. We'll talk about a little bit of this, but so to set up, I've already talked about it a little bit, but Wednesday, tomorrow, will be the semifinals. Wow, that was foul, wasn't it? It stopped me. All right. Tomorrow, Wednesday, will be the semifinals. Now we have Florida versus TCU, and Wake Forest will play the winner of this game that we are involved in right now, Tennessee and LSU. And then, so to set that up, those games, like I said, either LSU or Tennessee and TCU has to win twice. They will play Wednesday. They have to win that. And they have to win Thursday to make it to the final championship series, College World Series, that will begin on Saturday, guys, June 24th, this Saturday. They will begin the final College World Series championship series. It is a best 2 out of 3. So it'll go Saturday, Sunday, and if somebody wins 2 games, it'll be over with. We'll have a champion. If they split those games, then we will have a game on Monday, June 26th, and the champion will be crowned on the 26th. So we will either get a champion on the 25th or the 26th, coming up this weekend, Sunday or Monday. So that's how close we are. We do plan on having our final show Tuesday, the 27th, a week from tonight, and we're going to wrap up the College World Series and how all this played out and who won and how tight the series was, and we're going to end our season and have a big bang show to end the College World Series and college baseball and crown a champion next Tuesday night.
Wow.
You're going to be on with me, right?
Yeah, I'll be on with you next. I don't go to Orlando until what's it, the 28th. So yeah, this time last year I was in DC watching. He hit him.
All right.
Oh my goodness.
Plunk. He got plunked.
It's the third person hit in his. Listen, you can't make this kind of stuff up.
He got plunked.
He ain't trying to move either. He gonna feel that in the morning. I already know that's gonna hurt. That hurt me. And I'm sitting down. That hurt me, Brad. That hurt me.
All right, Jason, I'm going to move on to a little bit of stuff here. So before I click that,
I'm just going to go and say LSU's going to win the game.
Uh-oh. LSU gets insurance run.
LSU's going to win the game. And you see, now I'm mad at the coach for
taking the pitcher out on a 1-2 count.
Yeah, man.
I mean, that's a little unheard of.
Well, here's the thing too: the shortstop muffed.
Yeah, muffed a double play. Yeah, the shortstop did muff a double play as well.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So now they got to go down. They got to go get in the bottom of the hey.
Yeah, they gave up 1 insurance run. Now it's 3-0. That's where we're at.
And watch this. Wouldn't be surprised if the game ends in 3-2.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It could happen. You know, it could.
Very much. This is the best teams always in the play in this. I can't say that. One thing I can say about the College World Series, the final 8 teams that make it to the normally are the best 8 teams in the country.
There
I would
might
say
be
that
one
at
like Oral
big time.
Roberts, TCU. TCU got hot like the last half of the season.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, Ole Miss last year got hot late in the season.
And
So,
that's all it takes. That's all
so
it takes.
you occasionally you will see a team get hot, but I agree with you. Wake Forest, LSU, Florida, um, even Stanford, Virginia had a great, complete season. Stanford did too. Most of these teams had complete good season. Tennessee is a team that kind of struggled in the middle. So that's where they struggled. Tennessee did. So that's your 8 teams. But Oral Roberts, man, the last 2/3 of the season, they flat won ball games.
Boy.
I mean, they went 32-4 in their last 36 games. And that was going 1-2 in the College World Series. All right, so I've got our Linktree scan code up on the screen. All you got to do is scan that QR code. It'll take you to our Linktree page. On our Linktree page, you can find everything we do, including our True Victory. And I do have the shirt on tonight. You can find our True Victory there. I'll talk about that just a little bit later. But you can also find our platforms like our YouTube page, our Facebook page, my Twitter account. You can also find our TikTok and our Instagram. We have a Tumblr page. You can find everything we do, including Apple and Spotify. We do this, and I post it in audio form as well. So there is a ton to check out. Go to our Linktree page by scanning the QR code to the right of the screen, or you can just log on to Linktree/College SportsCast. Whichever you prefer. Right?
That's correct.
All right. Then I am going to put up our Real Fresh channel. We are featured on Real Fresh channel, and they do a little bit of everything. Howie has his own shows, and then he features us on Sunday nights. He has a show called Death, Taxes, and Sports that he features. He has a show called You Want to Do What? It's a Dungeons and Dragon, the game show. It's a show that they do on that. And they do a comedy show where they do clips and stuff. And check him out. He does a wrestling show. Just check him out. I'll let him talk here and tell you more about his channel. Here is Howie Fresh.
Real Fresh.
Hey, I am Hal Fresh here to tell you about the Real Fresh channel. That's right, youtube.com/the Real Fresh channel. We are a network aiming to bring you various content each and every day, different types of podcasts, different type of content. Anything from college sportcast and fresh takes for some sports. We also got You Want to Do What? We got the Wrestling Corner. We got live stream. Just go over to youtube.com/the Real Fresh channel and hit us up today. Thank you for checking it out. Appreciate your time.
All right, guys, that was Howie Fresh with the Real Fresh channel. He is part of our The Fanboys team, and go check him out. We would appreciate it. He would appreciate it.
No doubt.
All right. Now, Jason, have you caught any of the San Diego State news that's went on the last 3 or 4 days?
I have not caught any of it, but I've heard they was trying to move. They were eager to move from conference to the Pac. Was the Pac-12? It was the Pac-12. That's what I did hear a little bit about it. But yeah.
Well, so what really happened is the San Diego State sent out a clear message from the university stating that they intend on resigning from the Mountain West Conference. And the reason why this is important is this. If they move from the Mountain West Conference before June 30th of this year, 10 days from now, their buyout is only $17 million to leave the conference. If they wait till after June 30th, their buyout doubles to $34 million.
Wow.
To leave the Mountain West Conference.
What do you think? So what would you do if you're the administration of San Diego State? What would you do? Would you go ahead and do it immediately?
So, but here's the deal: the Pac-12 keeps San Diego State has made no bones about it. They have flat said that they want to be in the Pac-12, the new Pac-12.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
They even come out the other day and said we intend on resigning from the Mountain West Conference, but the Pac-12 keeps like dragging their feet. And I think it's because they're trying to work out a TV deal, and they've been in talks with it forever, and now all of a sudden they're trying to add San Diego State, but I don't understand why they don't go ahead and just send them an invite and add San Diego State and add them to the TV deal that they're currently working on. I mean, why not? I don't understand what the holdup is.
Oh, I don't know. Man, with all this talk about the Pac-12 losing everyone, having to reshape, I think they're trying to hold out to see who actually leave. We talked about USC's leaving.
UCLA and UCLA.
UCLA.
They're leaving. So it's down to 10 after this season. All right.
Okay. So do you want to put San Diego? Do you want to call it the Pac-13?
So
is that the hold up?
So what I've been hearing is SMU is quietly watching, and they have not. Now, SMU is totally different than what San Diego State has done. San Diego State's been bold and told what they want and everything else. SMU is quietly watching, and from everything that I have read up, lots of different reports on it, SMU is ready to join the Pac-12 as well. SMU is in the AAC, I believe. Mm-hmm. Isn't that where they are? Mm-hmm. The AAC conference?
They were Memphis. Yep, and they were Memphis and all that. Yeah. Is Memphis talking about leaving? Memphis talking about leaving the AAC too, right?
No, that one I'm not sure. I'd have to do a little research on. You're in that area, so you probably would know a little more about it than I do. But on that one. But SMU, who has always been kind of the outsider in Texas program, they've never been included in any of the big conferences that any of the Texas teams have been involved in, and that includes way back. When you talk about the Southwest Conference, when you talk about the Big 8 Conference, before it was the Big 12, Now you got the Big
Yeah.
12 conference. SMU has always been on the outside looking in. They've never been included in any of the big conferences. So I would have to believe that if SMU has the chance to join the Pac-12 as a power conference, that they would absolutely, and to do that away from all the other Texas schools, I would think SMU would absolutely jump at that opportunity. I would think to be in a power conference away from away from Texas Tech and Baylor and Texas and Texas A&M and away from all the power Texas schools. So you would have Texas and Texas A&M in the SEC. You would have Texas Tech, Baylor, TCU in the Big 12, and then SMU would be alone out of Texas in the Pac-12. I would think that would help them with Texas and Western recruits across the board.
I would believe so.
I would think so.
I would believe so.
I don't mean coming this way and towards the SEC and all that, but man, I would think that would help them. Hey, come to Texas. You can come to Dallas. I mean, SMU is in Dallas.
Hey,
that's a pretty fertile ground to be in, Dallas.
I don't think they will have any trouble whatsoever trying to get out of town and get to a game. I don't think that'll ever happen to them. I think that being able to get out of that airport, get out of that area, would be as easy as anything, and it'd be an easy fly in for everyone.
Yeah.
It's one of those deals, man. It's one of those deals that you look at it and then you really have to wonder, like, okay, is this a smart move? But like you said, SMU has always been on the outskirts of everything being done, and wanting to make sure that they're included with everything and be able to be in the forefront, because that would be a big deal. Other than Texas going to the SEC, that would be a huge deal for SMU because that, like you said, that state is very fertile with talent, and that would only help SMU with their recruiting, being in a bigger conference and giving the people something else to do, something else to look. Even though they do a great job of covering their sports in the state of Texas, do a great job, a remarkable job, might I add. So
they do, but SMU's kind of always been the redheaded stepchild in Texas.
So you go to the Pac. Now if you go say you're gonna be playing on the West Coast a lot and all this,
yeah.
Hey, you see what I'm saying? That's very intriguing.
So the Pac-12, they're losing the Los Angeles market. That's what they're losing, which is a huge, huge hit. Okay, they're losing Southern Cal, and they're losing and they're losing UCLA. So they're losing the Los Angeles market. If the Pac-12 can pick up San Diego and Dallas, two marquee cities. I mean, it's not USC and UCLA. It's not LA, okay? But
it's not.
It's not a bad, it's not a bad do what you have to, you know what I mean? To pick up Dallas and San Diego.
It's not bad at all.
Yeah.
It is not bad at all. It's not bad at all.
I mean, now,
it's not bad.
Is it going to save? We talked about this last week. It's $31.6 million. That's the mark. Is the revenue share that the Pac-12 is working on, are they going to be able to split $31.6 million with their 12 teams? That's the number they need to hit. The reason why that's that's the number, is because the Big 12 signed their contract last, I think, October, and that is what the Big 12 shares is 31.6. You know, the SEC and the Big 10, they might be above 50 million.
Easily.
With the new. I mean, it could be 50 or 55 million. I mean, honestly. So 31.6 is already a lot lower than what the SEC and the Big 10 is going to be. The ACC is in that 35, 37, 38 million dollar range. So the Big 12 does not want to be left in the dirt basically with 20 million when all these other teams are getting 50 and 60 or 40. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying.
So the mark really is 31.6 million is what they're trying to make sure that they hit. So that way they will at least be on an even scale with all the Big 12 teams. So anybody out west would all be kind of even in that 31, 32, million dollar range on their shares.
Man, yeah, that's on the low end.
So update on this game.
Home run. You just missed a home run.
LSU has scored 2 more runs in the top of the 9th, and they now lead 5-0. It was a home run. Is that what it was?
It's a home run. I almost gave it away. You were saying something. I just haven't let it get my eyes got real big. Yeah. Took him out. Took it out.
So they now lead 5-0 in the top of the 9th. There is 2 outs, no runners on. LSU is still at the plate. And then Tennessee is going to have to score 5 runs on LSU in the 9th to take this game into extra innings, or 6 to win. So we'll see. But that's where this game is at right now.
I don't see. Good as Tennessee play. Hey, now they might rally. I just think LSU's pitching. It's going to just take them over the top. And once again, another hit batter.
Wow.
Another hit batter. Or did he get out the way? I think he moved quickly, but hurt himself moving.
All right, so I'm going to put up our merch shop. It's to the right of the screen now. Our merch shop is merch shop. You can scan that QR code, go straight to our online shop. This, our logo, I put it up on the screen a little bit. That's our custom art logo. And you can pick up a shirt, T-shirt. You can pick up a hoodie. You can pick up a long sleeve. And then we have some sports design that's not the logo, but it's design of a basketball, soccer ball, volleyball, softball, women's softball, and basketball is on there as well. So check it out and use our code WATCHCSCAST for a 15% discount at our online shop. I'm going to leave that up on the screen for a little while so you guys can see that and scan that code as we talk and shop at our online shop. Get yourself custom art exclusive College SportsCast. All right, so hear about Bob Huggins and what happened to him over the weekend.
I did. I think that was
Going
to talk of Saturday news.
Yeah, I'm going to switch to college basketball here. Jason is a former player, college basketball, so he coaches AAU ball right now, and Well, they're taking a break in June, but he'll pick it back up in July. So he's heavily involved with basketball, and you know, Bob Huggins has been a coach for a long time. And I've been hearing a lot of bad stuff about Huggins lately. And I want to say this: Bob Huggins has never been a class guy. Okay? I don't like it. He's always kind of tripped up on stuff. He's never been a class guy. Bob Huggins, think of Bob Huggins in the Bobby Knight mold, because that's kind of the tree that Huggins fell out of. And I mean, listen, and I'm saying that with the deep respect. The man can coach basketball. He's always been a really great coach. I don't know his exact record, but he's bound to be 700-800 wins in his career in basketball as a coach. Between Cincinnati and West Virginia, he's bound to have 700-800 wins. And, I'm going to guess 300 losses or something. And those are just guess numbers, okay? But Huggins has always been a little raw, a little rough around the edges. Now we live in a time where people think that shouldn't be, that shouldn't happen, that nobody should be a little rough around the edges. But the truth is it still happens. I don't know exactly what happened on Friday night, or whatever night it was. Friday night, I think, when all this happened, he was picked up for a DUI. He blew a 2.1. West Virginia is 0.8. So it's 2.5 times. It's not like he was stone cold drunk. I mean, I'm a pretty big guy. Huggins is a pretty big guy. I can tell you this: like, if you drank 3 beers in 30 minutes, you might blow a 2.1, a 0.21. Right, Jason?
If you drink how many beers in 30 minutes?
If I drink like 3 beers pretty quick in 30 minutes.
Well, that wasn't the extent of it. It's the fact that he had a trash or a bag full of them. He was riding around with them.
Oh, so he had a bag full of. See, I didn't hear all
that. Yeah. He had a bag full of beers. And so that was kind of the difference. So that right there, I think, did him in. And I'm gonna piggyback on what you said. Bob Huggins is is the 2023 version of Bob Knight, in my opinion, with some of the antics he has been able to get away with
on the court and off the court.
Yes,
both.
Had it been any other coach with the same problems or mistakes, they would have got rid of him. But the fact that he actually had, won or produced players, and was because in Cincinnati he did things his way. He had some rough dudes in Cincinnati,
and he had some run-ins with some stuff. Huggins did himself.
Huggins has always gotten a pass in the age of social media and the media, and with all the movements and everything going on, he just couldn't afford to do it again.
Just a month or so ago, he had the deal on the radio station and all that,
the slur he used.
Yeah, the slur that he used and stuff. So he had that was already against him, just like 6 weeks ago or whenever that was.
Exactly.
Yeah. So he was put on like a probation period at West Virginia then, and they They let him keep his job then.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
Friday night happens.
I just don't understand. And I two things I do get. He's grown and he's grown.
He's
Right.
69
I
years
just
old, guy. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's
I
been
met him.
coaching a
Yeah,
long time.
yeah. I met him. He came to junior college one time and recruited a guy we had. Bob showed up himself. He showed up, met him, said, "Hey, if you guys are ever in West Virginia, just give me a call. We can go back to my house. I have a brewer." Listen, believe every word he said. Okay, when you're on thin ice and you have to be very careful because we have to be careful what we do. We can't be, hey, do as I say, not as I do. Okay, so if I'm Bob Huggins and I feel like riding and drinking, I'm probably going to call someone and say, hey, come get me. Let me ride and drink. I will pay you to drive me around.
He's got
And
the
let
money.
me
I mean, you would think
that
he's got the money.
that is all that I'm saying. That is all that I'm saying.
Warning track power,
I'm
by the way.
saying, yeah. I'm just
Tennessee's done. LSU beat them.
Yeah,
They had 2
I
warning
told you.
track powers, by the way, in the ninth.
I seen it too.
That's what I was
So
getting at. Sorry.
Yeah, you good, you good. Because I was doing it too. It was just it just behooves me that especially in times in which and I understand too that sometimes you don't trust people, you don't want people in your business. I get that, but I don't want to get probably one of my closest friends or my closest buddies and say, "Hey,
But Huggins
could you come down
has
here?"
always been that dude that you can't tell me nothing. I'm going to do it my own way. I'm gonna be as rough around the edges as I want to be, and I'm gonna do it my own way. And that's how he's always been. I mean, that's what got him in Cincinnati. He was fired out of Cincinnati and was probably the greatest coach that Cincinnati had ever had.
Without a doubt. I once again, I'm saying this. I'm not passing judgment on anyone. I'm the last person to pass judgment on anybody. I know I'm not perfect, so I don't speak anybody. But man, just sit down and watch TV and get hammered at home.
Or like you said, you got the money. I mean,
I'm going, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I might even call Uber. But with the day and light of technology, everything is polarizing. I can understand him wanting to, do things by himself, but you putting yourself in. And here's the thing: not only are you putting yourself at risk, but you're putting everyone else
on the road.
on
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
staff. On the road,
Yeah,
you're right.
on the road as well. By the way,
their contracts are expiring, and so they don't know. I just seen something on Twitter before I came on air that West Virginia made an announcement, and I didn't read the announcement. They had a press release of exactly what they said. So now,
so there's talk. So West Virginia, Huggins had brought in several transfers and stuff, and there was hope that West Virginia would be a much better team this year in the Big 12. But now that Huggins is gone, they are hoping to be able to keep the staff intact.
Yeah.
And
so who's going?
And not lose their players, to keep the rest of the staff intact. But I've heard a couple of names really where that might happen, and I'll try to get to that here. Hang on a minute, because I seen a story. Actually, like you said, right before we come on, I was doing a little research. and I seen a story about like who they might get. I don't know. I can't find it now. I'm sorry, guys. I thought I would bring that up, but so I did see two names that Steve Forbes was one from Wake Forest that I heard that they might try to go after, and then I also heard, Jason, that they might go after Chris Jans from Mississippi State.
Ooh.
But I just don't see either one of those guys leaving the situations that they already have to go to West Virginia to step in and try to fill this team's shoes with, Huggins.
Coach Martin just left last year and took a job at South Carolina State.
That's one of them. South Carolina State's coach is one of them.
Yeah. I think he will come in.
Is that Frank Martin? Is that who you're talking about?
No, that's not Frank Martin. That's Coach Martin. Coach Martin was his former players.
Oh, okay.
His former players.
Yeah.
But Frank Martin is at where is he? He's somewhere.
He was at South Carolina and got canned, and I'm not sure if he's coaching. And Frank was filled in, was on Huggins' staff at one time.
He was.
Yeah.
I remember he said something about him.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if he's coaching right now. He got fired from South Carolina. He didn't coach last year, but now he could have got some small school somewhere. I don't know where he is.
No doubt. I'm trying to think about it. I might be able to go catch it. I'll probably just go to the page to see exactly. Here you go. From Bob. It was from Bob Huggins' daughter. Yeah. Man, again, for mistakes made, mistakes, shut all. Yeah. He had how many cans? Cherokee Fur, Huggins, $59. Yep. I'll send this to you, Brad, as well, so you can see exactly what I was talking about.
I didn't see that he had a bunch of cans and stuff in his car. I didn't see that part. I just seen where it said his blood alcohol was 0.21.
I read that.
But I mean, 0.8 is nothing.
Yeah, exactly. That's
0.8 is nothing. That's one beer. Seriously.
Yeah. So I don't know what.
In 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Man,
I mean, he still shouldn't be. I'm not saying anything. He still shouldn't be on the road driving. I'm just saying that a big guy like Huggins is 0.21 doesn't sound like it's like outrageous to me or nothing. Is all I'm saying. But if he had a whole bunch of cans in the car, you can't really deny that.
Man, did it come through yet?
You got to throw them out the windows. I'm just kidding.
Man,
I'm just kidding. Don't do that. That was a joke.
But you
got to hang on to the evidence.
I'm trying to think if I see anything about the Bible.
Yeah, I got it.
You see that can? You see that bag?
Yeah.
That kind of did him in right there.
All right, so I'm going to move on to True Victory. I got my shirt on tonight. There it is. So True Victory is, we are a proud sponsor of. They're a veteran-owned sportswear company. You can scan that code to the QR code to the right of the screen, take you to their online shop. They have men's, women's accessories. They have some great gear, great workout gear, and they are veteran-owned and first responders-owned. Check them out. you can use our code to fanboys for a 15% discount, and you can pick up some really, really comfortable, cute gear. I like it. So again, scan our code to the right of the screen for a QR code. And like I said, use our code to fanboys. All right. So then I'm going to get to some Kentucky news. And I'm going to set a few things straight, I think, or I'm going to try to anyway. So, Matt, I am getting so sick and tired of seeing these, I don't know, so-called insiders and everything else that's coming up. So, and talking about this news. So just 2 or 3 days, 3 or 4 days ago now, there was a guy, a reporter now. This was like a real reporter. And, he's telling a story that Antonio Reeves, he's writing a story that's like 10 days old. And he puts it out there like it's brand new, okay? That Antonio Reeves is taking classes at Illinois State.
Whoa.
He is. So
Yeah.
I want to take the time, and I'm not a huge insider here, but I do a little research, okay? I look at stuff. I write some articles myself, and I do a little research. And I'm just sick and tired of these people that come out of the woodwork and don't do some damn research. And they come up and they tell all this stuff, and they don't know what the crap they're talking about. So here's the deal. Antonio Reeves transferred to Kentucky last year from Illinois State, okay? When he transferred to Kentucky, some of his credits did not transfer. So when
He had to take courses, right?
some of his credits did not transfer when he transferred to Kentucky. Illinois State is a lot smaller school. Kentucky is an SEC school, has different standards. Some of his courses and his credits did not transfer. Okay? So what that did is it made him even less likely to be able to graduate because he lost some credits. When May 31st, when he took his name out of the NBA draft and said he was going to come back to college, but he wasn't sure about Kentucky, the only way that Antonio Reeves can play anywhere else besides Kentucky at that point on May 31st was if he graduated. So the research that I have done tells me that Reeves is taking some online classes through Illinois State in hopes to regain a few of his credits and to graduate after a summer course or two. From the way I understand it. Now, I will say this is causing some issues. And the issues are this. Now that he is enrolled as a student back in Illinois State, there is some questions or not whether he would be eligible to play at Kentucky, or would he have to transfer back to Kentucky if he wanted to play there?
Yeah.
Because he has taken some courses, online courses, by the way, at Illinois State. But so there's a lot to this story. It's a little strange.
I'm listening to it. It gets stranger every time you say it. Like,
yeah. So, from what the way I understand it is, Kentucky and Reeves are currently looking into what it would mean if he wanted to stay, because the rumors over the last 4 or 5 days is that the tides were turning and that Reeves might want to stay, including there's been pictures that Reeves' locker is still intact with his number, with his name, with his nameplate. It's been posted.
yeah.
His Kentucky locker is still intact, and there are rumors that Kentucky has ordered their Global Jam, which is July 12th, is coming up, has ordered their uniforms for the Global Jam, and Reeves, they ordered one for Reeves. I don't know if this is true or not. Those are rumors, okay? I have no idea if those are true or not. But what I am telling you is I have come across and done a little research, and Kentucky and Reeves is currently looking into what all this means, because he's taken online classes at Illinois State, and if that messes with his eligibility to play at Kentucky.
I don't see why that would mess with any eligibility that he has, Brad, just because he's taking courses online. I'm not understanding that. Well, this is Division One. It's not junior college, so I'm thinking about that. Okay, so why couldn't he take the courses at Kentucky? Is it because they don't offer them, or is it because they don't offer them?
Well, so I think it's because he was losing some credits, and he thought if he went back to Illinois State to finish, that he could gain those credits back and put a class or two with it. He'd have enough to graduate.
Oh, okay.
That's the reason why I think he done it.
Okay.
Whereas at Kentucky, he lost a few credits and he lost some stuff, so he was a little further away from graduation, and he probably wouldn't have been able to graduate with just a couple of classes in the summer course.
Gotcha.
Is what I'm hearing.
So if he graduates, he's going to be considered a grad
transfer. But he'll be if he graduates because of these online classes, he will technically be a graduate of Illinois State.
Yeah.
Not of Kentucky. Yes.
That's a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yes.
That is a lot.
Right?
I see why you trying to. Yeah, let me put this out here. Disclaimer.
Yeah. So there's just a lot of news surrounding Antonio Reeves that is just like I've been dealing with I've been dealing with basketball and been a sports guy all my life, and I can't recall ever in the middle of the summer somebody taking courses at another. I can't recall ever hearing that.
Yeah,
and especially those courses trying to get you to graduate. So that means you would technically be a graduate of Illinois State.
Technically. should technically be a graduate. Wow, that's something right there.
So, like I said, they are checking into what that would mean for his eligibility at Kentucky, from the way I understand it. Now, does that mean that he absolutely couldn't? But would he have to be considered a two-time transfer, even though he played at Kentucky last year? That's there's a whole lot of red tape to this.
That gave me a headache.
Yeah.
I'm trying to process, like, how can he leave Kentucky, go take course, but he's taking an online course. I just think he's trying to become
A grad, so he can transfer.
So he can transfer back to Kentucky.
I don't know. Or transfer wherever. But I am hearing in the last 5 or 6 days that tides have kind of turned, and that he is wanting to come back to Kentucky. Now, I don't know if that is a rumor. I don't know if that rumor is true or not. But I do know for sure that this courses stuff and taking online classes at Illinois State, and that he's trying to graduate, and that it is messing with the eligibility, that he would be an Illinois State graduate if it happens, and he played at Kentucky last year, and whether or not he would have to be a two-time transfer because of that. There is a lot of stuff that's going on with it, is all I'm saying. And it's all weird.
Man, yes.
Yes.
Boys, that's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
That's a lot of moving parts. But let me ask you a question while we're on your Wildcats. There's been a lot of talk that they need to have some veterans on this team. They don't have enough veterans.
Yeah,
I read it the other day, and so what do you think about that?
So Reeves would help, of course, if he could come back. I mean, Reeves would be a fifth-year senior. Okay.
Gotcha.
Reeves would help with that if he could come back, first of all. Second, as a fan myself, I mean, I was upset that they didn't truly all guns, blasting or whatever, to try to go get Grant Nelson from North Dakota State, and I think he's going to wind up at Alabama. So he's going to be down there that we're going to have to deal with for as a fan, Kentucky. And Arkansas is reloaded, and Alabama's reloaded, and so Ole Miss is Beard's making a mark. I don't know that they'll be the top of the mark next year, but he's going to have a good team. Of course, you got Auburn, that's with Bruce Pearl, that's going to probably have a good team in the SEC. They're Missouri, can't count them out. So do I think that they need some experience? Yeah, absolutely. I do think that they need it. Now, I haven't seen these talented freshmen play together yet. They are extremely talented. Now, whether or not they can overcome the inexperience, I'm not sold on it yet, but I'm also not freaking out. You know what I mean? Like, it's summer, so
I understand.
I'll freak out in November.
I can understand. Hey, one sport at a time.
Yeah.
I just, when I read that, I thought about you. I was like, I know Brad had seen this
Yeah.
article about his Wildcats, and then to piggyback, what was the Big Oscar?
Yeah.
Big Oscar may not get drafted.
That's look at here. NBA
Look at
draft.
that! Look at that! Look at
NBA
that!
draft is
Listen,
Thursday.
listen, listen.
It's Thursday night, and extending off of what you just mentioned. So there is a little, mostly unknown fact.
Okay.
A rule was changed in 2019
Mm-hmm.
that allows a player, if they go undrafted and was invited to the combine, if they go undrafted, they have till Monday after the draft to inform the school, and they actually can come back to school if they go undrafted.
Man, yeah. I heard about that rule. I heard about that rule.
Yeah.
I heard about that rule.
So Oscar, I have seen, so there's 58 picks Thursday night in NBA draft. I've seen Oscar listed in the 60th spot, in the 60th,
That's the last pick.
in the 62nd spot, and I've seen him all the way down to like 69, 72, depending on which mock people, you're looking at. But he's somewhere in that 60 to 69 range in almost every single one of them. And there's only 58 picks in the draft. Now, here's the deal. Oscar has worked out for like 15 teams, 13, 15 teams, a bunch of them. He's put in the work. Big Oscar has. And, I don't know. It's going to be – I'm very, very interested to see if he gets drafted, if there is a team late in the second round that's going to take a chance and draft a guy that can rebound better than anybody I've seen in the last, 30 years.
In college now. In college.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying
He hasn't been in pros yet, so I mean.
I understand, but you saying he's rebounded better than anyone in college. I think that transfers into an NBA because you look at somebody like a Grant Williams and a Draymond Green.
Yeah,
they were undersized kid, but I think they had a little bit more skill than Big O. I'm not gonna call him a Big O. I'm sorry, Big Oscar. I think they have a little bit more skill than him. But it's gonna be interesting. I see a couple of Wildcats stayed in the draft as well. What do you think the chances of your Wildcats getting drafted? What's his name?
Cason Wallace is probably going to be in that 10 to 18 range somewhere. That's probably where he's probably going to fall. That would be my guess. I've seen – so I looked at about 4 mock drafts